Yeah, boy, Lucy. So, we're talking about localizers again. And how they change the original meaning of Japanese games into when they translate it to English. So, right now we're talking about Final Fantasy Tactics, creator response to the localization debate. Because apparently, like, you'll have this, like, line in Japanese. It was this line in Japanese about a girl talking to a guy, and in Japan, in Japanese, she's saying he's being like a tsundere, which, I mean, in English would be translated as someone who's playing hard to get, right? But the localizer didn't see it this way. The localizer changed that the original meaning, and she said, and like what the localizer put was, he has his fragile male fragility, and it's like, okay, so you changed the entire context of the conversation, where it's funny, ha ha ha, and she's bantering. Now, like the Western localizer changed her into just being a Western bitch. And again, it takes Japanese people to point this out, right? It's like, now, hold on. They completely changed the original meaning of this interaction into goofy Western speak. And the creator, in this article, the creator will respond to it. It's like, the decision on game localization sparked by Matsuno's comments sheds light on the balance between fidelity to the original text and adaptability for a new audience. Fans express admiration to Matsuno's approach to poetic dialogue, praising his work on titles like Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy. I have no idea what the fuck that says, because I don't care to read Roman numeral ass shit. Fans appreciate the impact of localization on their gaming experience, recognizing how a well-crafted translation can enhance storytelling and character development. Matsuno's unique style has left a lasting impression on many... What the fuck is happening up there? Lasting impression on many players, emphasizing the importance of thoughtful localization. And here's the thing about localizers, because at least 2 years ago, if you were to ask me, I'm taking a sip. 2 years ago, if you were to ask me, what's the thing about localizers? And it's like, well, at least they know the Japanese tongue. But it turns out, no, localizers don't even know Japanese. Like, what they have is, you have the goofy Western localizer, and you have a Japanese man who speaks English as sort of a second language, and they describe it to them, and the localizer just, localizes it. Not like there's literally nothing a localizer can do that an AI can't. Because, again, it takes AI to point this shit out, to point out the fact that, Western libtards are changing the goddamn original text of the Japanese game. And it's not because the language is hard, right? Because, say, if you want to translate ramen into the English, it'd be like noodle soup, and it's like, you can just use the original word, ramen noodles. Like, you don't need to change it. Like you don't need to translate sumo wrestling into fat naked man wrestling. It's just use the word. Like, if you use the word sumo wrestling, people know what the fuck you're talking about. And it's like, some things just don't need to change. Just use the original context. But Western localizers don't think this way. They're like, not only do they change the meaning, change the spirit of the interaction, they want to add their own Western woke political bullshit into it. And again, people see this. Like, again, like it's like back to the heels versus baby's face debacle about them current daying everything. Like that's exactly what's happening. And again, the English translation of Japanese anime, they are current daying it. While opinions of localizations may vary, the conversation sparked by Matsuno's insight, showcasing the diversity of perspectives within the gaming community. Fans value the rich tapestry of storytelling that localization can offer, bridging cultural gaps and enriching the gaming experience for audience worldwide. I mean, this was never an issue. Like, again, taking I've completely lost the name of the guy who created Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball is world renowned, right? Like, what the fuck is his name? Whatever. When he died, right? I think his name started with a T. Like, when the creator of Dragon Ball died, the fucking Chinese leading party gave his family their condolences, right? It's like even the fucking cartel had a ceasefire on the day that guy died. Like, Dragon Ball is so world renowned that it didn't need localizers for this to happen, right? It didn't need to bridge the gap. It just needed to be a good fucking product, a good fucking anime, right? Even the people in Saudi Arabia, I think they're making some sort of like amusement park. Toriyama, that's his name. They're making an entire amusement park around Toriyama and Dragon Ball. Like, this guy was a legend, and he didn't need localizers. He didn't need woke, moralist localizers for this to happen. It was just a guy with a pen and a fucking vision. That's all that was required. But apparently, if you're in Japan and you need to sell to America, unfortunately, it's like you are forced to have these parasites in your company, right? Like, I think this is the future of entertainment. Any entertainment that you want to sell to the West, you will be forced to have some sort of consulting firm, some sort of localizers and localization firm to have your shit sold in America. And this is anti-American, right? Like, the idea is simply putting out a fucking product, right? And this is why it's almost impossible to sell like games in Australia and Germany, because it is like so idiotic how they're like if you want to sell a game in Germany, you need to pay out $2,000 for them to look over the game, only for them to maybe find that the game doesn't meet the specific what they want, and they don't give you that money back. It's like, so why do you need to pay out like $2,000 just to have people look over your shit? Like, what are they, on narcotics? Like, what's happening here? Blizzard recently made changes to the end users agreement, sparking controversy among gamers. What the fuck is this? Oh, this is something completely different. But yeah, that like the whole controversy about localization, and unfortunately, the Japanese are now embracing the ESG whatever the fuck, and I've been over this a million times, and usually it takes a while for shit to go to enter Japan. Like, for the longest time, games from Japan were like $60. When here they were 70. But unfortunately, these things are infesting Japanese companies, so it's like, well, I mean, now people are just not, again, because people are just not going to want to deal with, like, buy Japanese games because they see things like this. They see things like the changing and localization, and they're like, well, even Japanese uh, consumers are like, what the fuck is this? Like, why the fuck is this in the game? And I don't know. I mean, I hope this isn't. I hope the future I envision isn't going to come to fruition, right? Because you have, well, for lack of a better term, double A gaming companies like the makers of Pow World and the makers of Helldiver and the Coffin of Ashley and Lele, Andy and Lele, right? They could whip out bangers and make millions, but I mean, they're the outliers. You gotta understand this. Like, if you want to go indie, unfortunately, if you can't do it on your own merit, you're kind of buried into the algorithm. But, um, but that's neither here nor there. That's another video, but that's all I gotta say about this. See ya.